Give it up, get drunk, give a fuck, get dark, look it up. Give it up, get drunk, give a fuck, get dark, look it up. Give me your Remy straight up, no ice.
All right, so welcome to a new episode of BeingLUSHous, where we show you all the queer hotspots. We interview queer people of interest that you want to know about. Today's guest is Whitney Mixter. You know her from The Real L Word, all the parties, and she's bringing the nightlife back to the ladies on Thursdays. Welcome.
What's up? Hey, Whitney. It's so good to see you. You look fresh.
Thank you. No, I'm trying.
You're
trying to be like you.
You're succeeding. Yes.
Well, let's have a drink.
Let's go.
Now, throw it down, what it do now? A few rounds of brandy, a break of full.
So, well, thank you for joining us on BeingLUSHous, where we discuss all things queer and fabulous and cocktails.
I love all three of those things. So
Speaking of cocktails,
yes,
we need some cocktails.
We won't talk about what time of day it is.
You don't need to know what time of day it is. It's 5 o'clock somewhere
It
at all
sure
times.
is. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to it being
Be
5 o'clock
thirsty.
somewhere. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so now that you guys are promoting here at Roccos, what made you want to bring nightlife back to Thursdays?
I mean, there was a severe lack in this neighborhood and in general in Los Angeles on a Thursday night. I mean, you used to have Kiss at Hero Lounge, but there's just been crickets ever since. So it's like, can you get, as soon as this place opened, I'm like, you have to give the ladies a night. And this is the best we got, and we were down to take it. Thursday's a solid night. There was nothing going on, so we filled that void.
And I think it's great too, since one of the investors is a lesbian. I'm like, oh, okay, go Jamie.
Exactly.
But yeah, so what's the difference between like what 21-year-old Whitney like to do and what you like to do now? Like, where do you like to go for like going out, partying, drinking?
I'm Whitney 2.0. I'd like to go to like a jazz club. You know, I'm like fancy. You don't know about this.
She said I'm fancy.
I'm refined. I'm the refined version of. I'm still like. It's like you could take me to the hood or the opera, really. I'm more versatile.
I'm not taking anybody to the opera. I'm not enjoying that so much.
That's true. I'm not really down with the opera, but you know.
Right, she went from jazz to opera.
Right, let's not get all crazy. I still have to have some type of swag, but.
So, when 21-year-old Whitney went to like her first bar, like where was that first experience? Like going like, oh my God, these are my people, I'm having drinks. Like, where was that at?
Well, I was living in New York, and so my first bar, I was definitely like 18, 19 with the fake ID tip, and it was Meow Mix. Most likely Meow Mix or Henrietta Hudson or both. And you know, it was like walking into like a utopian society. I didn't even know. I was like, what? This exists? I mean, I would take whatever I could get at that time. And I did, trust me. In a number of ways, I'm like, I'll settle.
So I know, like for me, I've gone out and I'm like, actually I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, how did I meet you? I don't know. I think you came to LA and then you were just like every fucking where.
I was like all the places, right? I mean, you used to come to Juicy, right?
I have no idea.
I feel like, I mean,
Maybe.
Juicy went on for 6 years.
And then like your co-promoter though, for like other parties, like for Krave, your co-promoter is Michelle.
Right.
I've known Michelle since like, she used to do Pimp and Push.
Right, exactly.
Actually, before that, she was just a club photographer.
Oh.
Her trajectory is crazy. She used to be.
How is she my best friend? I didn't even know that. What?
She used to be the club photographer. So like a lot of the pictures from my Kiss back in the day, like when DJ Leslie was doing everything.
Michelle took?
She was the picture. She was a photographer. She did
It's
nighttime
all the
photos.
more you know. Bing, boom, boom.
Yeah.
What the heck?
It's crazy. So it's kind of like, I think the world's kind of converged. All of a sudden, I just saw you everywhere. And you've just always been really cool. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I remember one of my cast members for the Lez Factor, Kenya, was like, oh yeah, Whitney said she loves the show.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then I remember I was doing live at Krave. You're like, oh, you're going to interview me? I'm
Yeah.
like, you want to be on my show? You're like, I'm down. I'm like, it's funny because you never know who's willing to do what or be on what show. And it's funny because people are always asking me, like, Eryn, how do you get such and such a guest? I'm like, there's this thing called a mouth, and I opened it and I asked.
Yeah.
And then people say yes.
That's all you got to do. I mean, first of all, it doesn't hurt that you're like super sweet. And we have to like help each other out in this community. That's what everything's about. I mean, Kenya's amazing as well. She's my roommate, as you know. Yeah. So best roommate ever, and your cast member. So.
Yeah, I love her. She's great.
I love her as well.
I'm like, dang.
She keeps me well fed.
I'm sure. Taste of Home Cooking. Follow her.
Yes, please do. Whoa.
So I know you also, you co-promote Krave as well. Like, where are you guys taking that? So
Yes,
it'll be like
50, it'll be like anniversary. We have big things in store. I mean, honestly, it's grown tremendously over these 5 years. We have really put our all into it. We had a vision. We really felt like there was a whole lack of community being portrayed, being like safe spaces being had for a certain community within Palm Springs during the whole Dinosaur weekend, and we really sought out to fill that and create it, and it's really had a really positive effect for sure.
Oh, it is. People love it, and I know I love the music more. I'm like, yeah, I can actually party here.
Me too. It's like the place. I like creating the parties that I want to attend. So that's what Krave is.
So I have another cast member, and she actually said that you were the inspiration for her going into special effects makeup. When she saw you in the Real L Word.
Really?
Yeah, Kaori. So she does special effects makeup, whatnot.
Oh, dope.
Do you even still do that?
I do sometimes. You know, I've been really busy with other stuff, but last summer I went away for a job for a month, and I do like military immersive training exercises. It's a long story. I don't know if we got all the time, but yeah, I basically do these exercises where I create moulage, which is simulated battle wounds. Created
simulated battle wounds.
Yeah, like really intense ones, like arterial gushers and IED explosions and things like that.
Wow.
So it's intense, but it's something that I definitely have always been passionate about because I love horror movies and things like that. But you know, sometimes you have to pick the directions. You can't do all the things at sometimes. So I just wanted to focus more on doing events, being in entertainment, being more in activism and stuff. So you gotta let the blood and guts fall to the wayside. You know what I'm saying?
I was looking at your profile, like on IMDb. It said that you're a comedian. Did you ever do stand-up? Like, what
so
is
I
that?
did. Okay, the first time I did stand-up, I got suckered into it. I didn't know what was happening. I thought I was literally taking part in like a small coffee time, you know, storytelling thing. No, it was at the LGBT Center, and it was sold out, over capacity, and there's like a couple hundred people in that auditorium. And when I came in, there was a green room, and there was a stage with the light, and I'm like, wait. And then I noticed that I was sandwiched in between a whole lineup of comedians, and I'm like, wait, am I doing stand-up today? Okay, I guess I'm doing stand-up. I don't really remember what happened because I just remember.
She's like, it's in my profile that I do comedy, but I do
not
remember.
Well, like I got up there and then I did a routine and it went over seemingly very well. And then, you know, I did a couple little things after that, and then I took some improv stuff at Groundlings, and then I did comedic roles in movies and stuff like that, and I was on an episode of Workaholics. So getting into stand-up on a larger scale is definitely something that is in my near future.
Oh, is it?
I mean, we'll see. I hope so.
Maybe we should tour together. I do stand up as well.
You do?
I do.
Let's do it.
I'm down for that.
Oh my God, I'll open for you.
And it's so funny. I have somebody who just, aside from being luscious, but somebody asked me, they're like, you should host a comedy night because I just started doing comedy again. I used to do it. I actually did it before the Lez Factor. I was doing stand up.
I think I actually know this about you.
Yeah, some girl was like, oh, you're really funny. Come be in my web series.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I should do my own web series. So literally it came out of comedy.
See?
A lot of things come out of comedy.
A lot of my life.
Your life
My life really comes out of comedy.
Not drama?
Or vice versa.
No,
to be honest, even if you think about when I was on The Real L Word, I feel like there was a lot of comedic aspects to that. At least I like to think so. Because if not, I would probably just be crying. Yeah. So no, let's do it. I'm down.
Okay. I want to see Whitney Mixter on stage.
Oh yeah, you want me to audition for you first?
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be on a casting couch.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay.
I'm like, yes,
I got you. Okay, good.
So you said you like to focus on like activism. What kind of like things do you do to promote that side of?
I mean, obviously creating safe spaces and promoting safe spaces within the queer community, especially for youth. Mental health is a big thing. I'm also a huge animal activist, so I really take a lot of my time focusing on animal activism for sure. Okay. Sometimes a little too much. Like that's my like number one passion for sure. I love it. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
But you know, yeah, definitely creating safe spaces. I think for us, it's really important to take our voice and whatever reach we have and really take it as far as we can go with it. So that's something. And obviously, with the whole mental health discussion coming up to the scene really on a heightened level more recently, I think that's something to really, you know, focus on and promote.
Oh, 100%. I feel like a lot of times, you know, people are like, oh, I told my friend about it, it's okay. And you're like, no, you need a professional.
Right.
Professional.
Yeah,
and,
although starting dialogues is really important as well.
Yeah,
you know,
being
I think
open and not hiding.
Yeah, I think that is like part of the biggest step in the right direction is creating conversations. And I think that was something that was so kept in the closet, no pun intended, but for so long, you know. And I think now that, you know, there's celebrities coming out and talking about their own mental health issues, you know, and with suicide things coming to play, I think it's really important, especially it really coincides with the queer community a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important that we all do a platform. I've definitely gotten inboxes from people. I'm like, who? And they'll be like, oh, you changed my life. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And it's funny because people just want to have an outlet.
Yeah.
When we first started Lez Factor, like there weren't a lot of queer women of color out there having shows and people to talk to. Literally, people would like call, because I have like there's actual phone number on our Instagram.
Oh yeah.
So people call it like 3 in the morning, and they would be like, "Hey, I wanted to talk to somebody." I mean, if somebody's calling at 3, I'm thinking somebody's dying. Like, who's calling me? But
so you answer at 3, and you're like,
And they were like,
Hello?
so I have lesbian.
But do you answer all?
They're like, I have lesbian issues. I'm like,
Oh God!
Don't we
It
all?
was me. Watch this whole time. It was me. I'm like, hello. I've got girl problems. I'm gonna call you now at 3. Now that I know you pick up, I'm gonna wait until exactly at 3. But no, seriously, going out. You're right when you say people come up to you and they tell you things. I think sometimes you not take things for granted, but just don't realize the impact that you have on certain people's lives because you're just going about your life and going about your passions and things. And you know, from doing the show and then traveling around, I've been so fortunate to meet such amazing people out, especially young people that have come up and told me such intimate details about their lives, you know, whether it be like jaw droppers or really personal, emotional things. And every single thing I really try to take a moment out and connect with them. Because it's like that one thing where you might think it's just in passing could be kind of like a very pivotal moment for them. So it's important.
Yeah, I literally somebody's ex-boyfriend sent like a 4-page letter to the Lez Factor, and he was just talking about how his girlfriend watched the Lez Factor and then realized she was gay, came out, left him, and they're trying to build a friendship, and I was just like, ooh.
So was he like? Yeah, but was he like? Was it in a supportive?
He was very supportive. He was like, they live in the UK evidently, and he was like, yeah, it'd be great if you send her a shout out because you know she's out there looking for women and woo woo woo.
Oh, so damn, he was like trying to be her like wingman.
Then he found out he was bi, and I was just like, oh my God, I got a lot going. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy the things that people will send you and talk to you about. But speaking of crazy, you said you've traveled all around the country, and we like to ask people this question on BeingLUSHous, which is, what's like the craziest party experience you've gone through being out here?
Sure, the craziest party experience. I mean, I've literally been lucky enough to go all over the world, and there's been insane parties. I mean, are we talking volume or like massiveness of party?
Something
are we
where
talking
you
like
look back now, you're just like, wow, that was wild.
I mean, you know, I will tell you right now, when I got to introduce Fantasia on stage and then went back to the middle area with Lil' Kim and Kelly Rowland, I was like, what? In Atlanta, this was for Black Pride. This is the thing, I hosted Black Prides for years in a row, right? And I was
I missed all of that.
I was like, this is, I'm not like, you know, everybody knows everything. Okay, everybody's cool with this. Okay, good. But no, that was probably my moment.
Okay, how about, I've never knew that you hosted Black Pride.
I mean, and this year I'm going back. It's my favorite Pride. Atlanta, have you been?
I have.
You need to film there.
I do, yeah.
I mean, you should definitely film
I'm working
there.
on it. Somebody from Atlanta Pride just hit me up, and they were like, they want to bring Lez Factor, so.
You should definitely, I mean, it is, for me, my favorite Pride to attend.
Wow.
I'm sorry, all the other Prides, now that I'm realizing, scratch that. What about, forget San
It's too late.
Francisco
The
Pride.
first one came to mind was Atlanta. ATL, she's representing.
It's just fun. It's just so, the vibes are so good. The music for me, the artists that perform. I mean, yeah, so probably going out and introducing Fantasia like to a sea of women and then introducing Lil' Kim and like these musicians that I really look up to and have been fans for. And I'm just like thinking like, wow, my life, I mean, what is my life? Like what just happened?
Life
I
is
don't really know.
amazing.
Yeah, I was fucking with it for sure. And in that same spectrum, I've had like definitely also experiences where, you know, things get interesting. So in that capacity, because like there was a lot of times, so you have like crazy parties, like in terms of volume or like moments where you're like wow factors. And then you have moments where you're like, did that really just happen? Because a lot of these women, for a lot of times, just thought my body was their wonderland, as John Mayer once said. And like had no qualms about like going for it in like capacities that were just very intense.
Just going for it.
No, like very intense.
Wait, how do they go for it if you know?
Like real intense. I'm gonna tell you one little story real quick.
Awesome.
Do you want to know it?
Before you tell this story, because
Yes.
I need to give you my full attention, but I also need a cocktail.
Right. I probably need more cocktails to tell this story.
Yes, you need more cocktails to the story.
Thank you.
Give it up, get drunk, give a fuck, get dark, look it up.
All right, so now that we have these cocktails,
Yes. Right. I need that. So.
it's like instead of story hour, cocktail hour, where it comes with a story. Yes.
Right. Exactly. I'll just segue into this. All right. I was at Atlanta Pride in the VIP, and my hand. And I think just to start this out, I think it's because, you know, on the show, I was the more sexually based one. Mm-hmm. So people just assume like, oh, she's down. That's what. But it's like, maybe like if we have a conversation first or environment, not just like out of the blue, not a kamikaze hookup, you know?
Right.
So I'm like in VIP, and I'm talking to somebody in a full blown conversation, and my hand is on a banister. And all of a sudden, I feel my fingers, and they're very wet, you know, like very damp. And like, and I look over, and this girl is straight, like full on sucking, like deep throating essentially 2 fingers of mine, right? And I was so shocked by the interaction that I like only slowly pulled them out. It wasn't even like I ripped them out. I was like, I removed them. And she looked at me, she's like, just to let you know, you can get it if you want it. And I'm like, yeah, noted. I'm pretty sure I picked that up the first time when I just took these sopping ass fingers out, right? But the main thing in my head was like, damn girl, you didn't even know where my fingers have been, and they were just on a trick ass banister, you know?
Right.
Jesus. And then later in the night, just to like cap it off, I saw her with her stud ass AG girl, like that was like, you know, I didn't necessarily want to combat that situation. And I'm like, oh man. And they were coming up to me, and the girl comes up to me, the stud comes up to me and was like, yo, my girl, she's trying to fuck. I'm like, who though? Who? You? And she's like, you, and you're her get out of jail free card. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, does that mean like I'm obligated to do it? Because I feel like as though I'm obligated at this point to do it. Like, is that, I just felt like I was like gonna be like crying game in the shower. Like, okay, let's go then, that's fine.
That's like, and it's funny because my mind was just immediately like, everybody's hands touch that. You don't know whose hands been in their ass and on a banister. You don't know where them hands been.
I mean,
you out here working.
My hands were on a banister, and
like
you felt confident as fuck.
It's a deep throat. Like I wouldn't even want your mouth on me.
Full on. It was like a multiple head strokeage.
Oh, so she was giving you that head action, that chicken head action.
She was letting me know what was to come.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, yeah.
That's bananas.
Yeah, it was. I really felt.
Well, thank you for joining us on Story Time.
I mean, I like that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
but
my
thank you
pleasure.
for joining us on our episode of Being Luscious, and
thank you
very much. And you guys, make sure you turn in. The more you know. Yes, Whitney Mixter.
Yes, cheers.
See you guys next time.
Cheers.
Give it up, get drunk, give a fuck, get dark, look it up. Give it up, get drunk, give a fuck, get dark, look it up.